Are you ready to quit working and retire early so that you can focus on more important things in life? Well, me too. And in this video, I'm going to explain why you don't need millions of dollars invested to retire early, and I'll go over a few practical examples of how you can go about this. So let's get to it. I know it's common to hear people say that they can retire once they have a net worth of insert whatever amount you just thought of in your head, typically ranging $1 to $3 million, which, yes, that's one way to go about it if you want to be 80 years old. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, and that's why I'm here to talk about cash flow. Cash flow financial independence essentially means you have enough passive income coming in each month to offset your cost of living and then retire. Now, this doesn't mean that you can just go off with $1,000 to your name and a couple of cents coming in each month from your investments and expect to successfully retire, but it does mean that you don't need millions of dollars invested to retire. Given that the US median income is somewhere around $45,000 a year, I would say that you could probably comfortably retire on $400,000 invested. And coming up in the video, I'm going to explain practical strategies that you can apply to do this. Now, it comes down to how frugal you're willing to live and what type of lifestyle you're looking for in the long run. But $400,000 is not a stretch at all. Now, you may be asking yourself, how is this possible? I always thought that I needed $1 bazillion invested before I could retire. And that's where we get back to the other half of the equation, cash flow. There are things like dividend stocks that pay you to own them. There are rental properties you can buy. You can start an Etsy shop and side hustle your way to early retirement. There is no one way to retire. It doesn't mean that you have to be old and not working to be retired. And I think that should be an encouraging thing. People like you and I are here to redefine what retirement and what life really means. When I first started down my path towards financial independence, I was really intimidated by the amount of money I thought I had to have saved up at first. I thought I had to have literally over $1 million to my name before I could retire. But luckily, after realizing that cash flow is the key, I'm a lot closer to retirement than I even realized. So let's go back to that $400,000 I previously mentioned. How can you retire with that? There are high yielding dividends that pay anywhere from 8 to 11% a year. The one I'm going to use for this specific example is JEPQ. JEPQ is an ETF that pays roughly around 10% a year. So if you have $400,000 invested, which I know you can't just get $400,000 and throw it in there, it's going to take years of investing and saving. However, if you have $400,000 invested in JEPQ, that means that on average, it's going to give you 10% of that back a year, which would be $40,000. And now I don't know about you, but $40,000 is more than enough for me to live comfortably on. I already live on way less than that and invest over half my paycheck each month so that I can reach retirement early. So there's one practical example of how you can retire with way less than $1 million. And if you're not really into investments and the stock market, then here's another example for you. You can go into real estate. Option number 2 is to get into real estate, specifically get into rental properties. And I know that buying a house can sound intimidating, but there are countless stories of people that have retired before the age of 30 through the use of real estate. So let's go over a simple example with real estate. If you buy a house for $200,000, your mortgage is going to be around $1,000. Let's say you then rent the house for $1,500 and your tenant is then paying off that mortgage and you're getting to pocket $500. Let's say you keep saving up this $500 every month, you do it for a year or two, and then you have enough money for a down payment on another house. Then you can do that and then have another house. So let's say you have 3 houses. You're then pocketing $1,500 a month. That's after your mortgage is being paid off by the tenants. I think $1,500 a month is probably enough to live on, and if not, you can do it again and again and again until you're happy with the amount you're cash flowing. This also has added benefits because by you owning this house, the tenant is paying off the mortgage and you're also getting the increased property value over time. So it's kind of a win-win. I want to encourage you to get creative. There is no one way to go about retiring. You don't have to have $1 million invested and be 80 years old to take that leap. Retiring is not about quitting your work so that you can be lazy. It's about buying back your freedom and buying back your time so that you can pursue things you're passionate about in life. If you want to be a park ranger working seasonal jobs, do it. If you want to invest in dividends, invest in real estate, start an Etsy shop, whatever it is, do it. Life is too short and the world is too cool for us to be stuck at a desk the rest of our life doing something we hate. Get creative, get outside, and get retired.